in this way, having events and building community around that particular market. For example, you can check whether one character is going to betray another, or you can tell them to betray another. And if you betray that person, that's got a consequence and more information you get at the end. If you shelter that person, again, it has a consequence. I want the ink, man. The ink. I've done this before. The question being how has it affected it? It's really transformed it. It's meant that I'm able to create something with this level of interactivity, with a little knowledge of code. I mean, I'm geeky, whatever, I look on a computer, but I'm not somebody who has a real good knowledge of programming. The main thing for me is that it's all automatic, it's scale. It's 24 hours a day, it's worldwide. It's one of those things that's like an amplification of the power of what I'm able to do.
So what's interesting about Johnny is that he's a musician. So he's not like somebody, like as he said himself, like he's not a coder, he's not a technologist, I think. But he's using our software to bring his stories to life. So what's interesting about that is he has a book, it's got music and a live event, and he sells them all separately. If you buy the live event first, then you get the book, like a soft copy of the book. And the way that he's using Conductrr is you can text the characters, and in the book there's different sort of puzzles and so on that you can text. And the live event, it's all set in a dark room, which is why we shot it on the night vision. And so you need the flashlight on the phone in order to be able to sort of see your way around, and they've got characters in there that you see with their fingerprinting and so on. And so it brings me on to this point. The reason we call it Conductrr is because it orchestrates like the user experience across these different platforms. So Johnny's able to see, how people go from the book to the live event and sort of download his music and so on. So as a company, one of our motto is be remarkable, and what we mean by that is not just sort of do your best, do great work, but do stuff that people talk about. So it's quite a sort of crowded marketplace, and what you want is to create work that generates conversations, that people talk about you, so they recommend you and so on. And what this slide that I frequently put up, not only do we look to blend fiction and reality, but also entertainment and marketing. So in the design of the storytelling, trying to get these two things in alignment, so that the player or the audience, to them it looks like entertainment, and that's how it was intended, but it's helping to sort of spread the word about the product, the entertainment that you're providing. So this is an example of something that does that. So it's called 19. Do you speak Spanish? Okay, that's good. So it's called 19 Reinos, and it means 19 realms. And this is for season 4 of the Game of Thrones in Spain. So I'll show you this video. It's in Spanish, but I'll sort of talk over the top. So what's happening here is, so Canal Plus is the broadcaster, and they have the license from HBO to show Game of Thrones in Spain. And they've invited, I think it was like, I can't remember if it was 200 or 500, but basically the top fans from the previous season to come and take part in the trailer for the TV show. And what we did was we created the character, so he wasn't expecting this character to turn up, and he's inviting them all basically to war. He's telling them there's going to be a war in Spain, that Westeros is coming to Spain, and what we're showing is that all these people are videoing this live event and sharing it with their friends. So, and these are like the hardcore fans. He's saying to them, who here will fight for the Lannisters? Who's going to fight for a particular region? And that's it. So then it goes off. So that character we created in order to sort of be the like a thread, I guess, running through all the transmedia elements of this. And he also appears. I'll put that there just in case I couldn't show the video. So he also appears. I won't show you all of this either. But he also appears in a 5-episode web series. So we scripted all the web series. This poster says wanted, so he's a wanted man. And that's how much he thinks of his wanted poster. So what he's doing in these videos is he's telling people about an online game, kind of indirectly. So he's explaining like how you will sort of find enemies and how you will find companions and what you need to stay alive. So we use like the House of Cards sort of mechanic to really turn to the camera and talk directly to the audience and say, all interaction. So I won't, as we can't speak Spanish.
It would be posted on the Game Zone's websites, advanced sites,
So what they've so 19 Viennos, there's the Game of Thrones TV show, and then they have a Facebook page called 19 Viennos, and that is like, the way that we've set up is a town square, so people can go there and we post notices about different events that are happening in the story world. And there is also a Game of Thrones Facebook page, and sometimes they cross-post with that. But on the Game of Thrones Facebook page, people talk about the series, whereas 19 Viennos is all in world. So the idea that everybody tries to keep in character and such like. And so this is a website for this story world, in addition to the Facebook stuff. So what happens is players are invited to sign up for one of the great houses, whether it's Stark or Lannister or Targaryen, and also for a realm. And then what they're told is that every Monday, an hour before the show goes out, they're going to fight for their realm. And when the realm falls, the player with the highest experience points can become king or queen, if they're still alive. So so the show goes out at 9:30. No, 10:30. So 9:30 there's this massive fight, but midweek it's much more strategic. So these are some statistics that we got out of Conductrr. So our technology is behind the website. So we work with another company who built the website, but all the data, all the player interactions, all the badges and so on for the game all comes from Conductrr. And this was like a snapshot. It didn't come out like this. We had the clients that dressed it up and all the shooting it. And then they posted this on Facebook. So basically the two biggest families are Stark and Targaryen, and then Lannister, and then sort of it kind of falls away. There's a full-on strategy guide on the website, and this tells you, how many points you get for doing different things, how you're supposed to play, how you're supposed to attack. These are the codes for the different regions in Spain. And so this, the cara means like face-off. So here, if this is your profile, once you've logged in, you can compare your statistics to someone else's statistics. So they've got health and stamina and wealth and strength and XP. And then what you can do to, if you want to sort of interact with this player, you can attack them, you can seduce them, you can betray them, or you can give them coins, so you can sort of give out money to them. Every day you can go to the website and type in paga, which is like salary, and they give you like a daily wage, so you can buy different potions and shields and swords and this type of thing. And this is how it looks on Twitter. So at 19 Vienos is the Twitter account for the show, and then here we've got like attack, buy. So this one's by Leche down Poles, the milk and the poppy. So milk and the poppy sort of restores health and stuff, like as it does in the show. Seduce and so on. And what's interesting is, in order to put together the game, you really need to get to the heart of the Game of Thrones. So you need to know, what is the show about, what is it that the fans like about the show. And Canal Plus had like a super fan on the staff, so we would write stuff and come up with names for weapons and potions and so on, and then it would go through him, who would sort of approve it or sort of suggest some tweaks and so on, because it was really important to keep the immersion.
So they have to part of the gameplay through Twitter?
Yeah, so it's all played through, it's all based on Twitter. And here.
So when they post here, it shows up on Twitter?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically, when you click attack or seduce, it creates that Twitter stream, and then it will, and then when you hit enter or tweet, it will come out like this. So this will be the player sending it, and then you'll have his other details, like of who he's attacking and so on.
And does it help them then to go to that Twitter to see what other people are doing?
Well, so on the website there is a feed on the right there, so you've got a feed from Twitter, so they can see what other people are doing. But you don't have to. So if you wanted to sort of like put stuff together in Hootsuite or TweetDeck or something, you could do it there. And you can earn badges and so on for different types of behaviour. So this is something we put together for Game of Thrones in Spain. So this is the Red Wedding badge. If you seduce someone 5 times and then kill them, you get the Red Wedding badge. So these are the different, these are just some of the potions. There's like loads of things you can buy, because it's a full-on role-playing game. And also we have like a brand integration, so in certain stores. So Fnac is kind of like a Best Buy, I guess, you know, something like that. And if you go into the store, you'll find these posters, and on here there's a weekly code that you can put into the website, and it will give you more wealth, it will give you money. The thing is, you don't know how much it's going to give you, so sometimes it's like 10 coins, sometimes 5, and what's written on there is like a little bit of story. So it says, you've discovered a dead merchant that was butchered, you know, raid his pockets to find the coins, or, you know, so like an upturned chest has been left by some, you know, idle people.
So they don't have to look for that, though, you know that it's going to be there?
Yeah,
okay.
Because that's the thing, yeah, so it kind of works both ways. The people that run the stores want people to come into the stores to pick up their codes, and also the TV series wants people in the store to actually see it and go, oh yeah, Game of Thrones is on, or, you know, oh yeah, I better take part in this game. So if you hide them, it doesn't serve any purpose, because you'll...
Right.
Yeah, exactly. So, so also, of course, they have a throne from, you know, made of swords and everything. And this guy's posing in the store, in one of the stores. But the costume in it was available in the store, so you could, you know, pick up the robe and the weapon and everything and pose. Now, when we pitched this idea and they bought off on it, this backdrop, what we described was, you know, like a castle or a scene or something. So you would have your photograph, you know, unadulterated by all the sort of branding and everything, and then it would look like you were actually in the world of Game of Thrones. But then what actually came out from the people was basically the poster. But anyway, you know, like it's still quite cool. So this was I mentioned before about the Facebook. When we posted notices to the fans, it would come in this format. So it would look like it's sort of a sign posted on a tree.
So you guys, like, and someone else does all the design, or you?
So we designed all the game mechanics, all the story, but then the graphics are done in-house at Conductrr. So they did all the graphics for it. And then another company, Dahooty, they build the website, and then the website ties back into Conductrr that does all the thinking for the game. So when we put this together, or any of these transmedia experiences, we always look at how are the players getting involved in what we're doing. So sometimes, you can sit back as an outsider. So the Game of Thrones Facebook page is where people discuss the show and they discuss the characters. So they're kind of outside of the story world a bit. But then we have our web series. We move in world. We've got the web series, we've got the strategy guide and so on, where they can explore stuff. Then we have the massively multiplayer role-playing game on Twitter. And then, throughout the season, we're posting different kind of side quests, which are meant to encourage user-generated content. So, we invite them to invent their own weapons and this type of thing. And what's interesting is that Bruce Wayne showed up on our Game of Thrones website. So what he's saying is, Bruce Wayne, I'm going to protect you from the perils of the perils of the forest and everything. So it's quite funny. And when we asked people to come up with weapons, some people suggested catapults and special swords, and he wanted a Batmobile and some other stuff. But it was kind of like Batman inside the Game of Thrones. And then this week's challenge was take a photograph of yourself with the so this is the emblem for the game, the 19mm. So post yourself a picture of yourself with the emblem somewhere in Spain. And this was Bruce Wayne's submission to the Facebook page.
So but you guys were the one who made Bruce Wayne do that?
No, so we just posed the sort of quest on the Facebook page
to
say take a photograph of you, somewhere interesting with the emblem, and then the fans just sort of come up with their own ideas. And this was the one that Bruce Wayne has come up with.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty. Yeah, it's really cool. Now, what Conductrrs do, we're not looking at the quality of the pictures, but we are looking at the Facebook activity, and people are getting experience points for getting involved on the social media. And the experience points help them sort of rise up the league table, so that on the Monday night battle, if they're still alive at the end, they could be king of the realm. That's what they're trying to do.
Was there any other than king of the realm prizes involved?
So there's no cash prizes or incentives other than the fun of taking part in the thing. So at the end there is a coronation, but the fans don't know what that coronation might be. So what we've been sort of rooting for, I don't know if they've got the money for it, is a massive banquet in the centre of Madrid. But I don't know if they're going to do that. But it would be quite much. We wanted to put on another live event so people could come along and so on. But what's interesting about this, sort of about the way the fans really get into it is, so it's on Twitter, and if you let's say you're like a hardcore gamer of this, you're playing all the time, you can really build up your strength quite significantly. So that I'm like a middle ranking player. I attack you, you see who's attacked you, and then you turn around and retaliate, and I'm dead with one swoop. So what people have started doing, not everyone, but some people, have started to delete their tweets. So they'll attack and then delete. And this guy's going I'm a secret assassin and it feels good. And people have started to so they started their own sort of memes talking about other players who are going in, this guy's taking credit for it, that he feels good about being evil, because there's all this conversation now on the Facebook page, who is it that's killing me, and deleting their tweets, so I don't know. So, to get back to Conductrr then, it's forming basically the foundation of this, and the way that we see it is as Lego for transmedia storytellers. So, you decide what sort of creative experience you want to create, and then you assemble the bricks. So, if you wanted a location-based game, with sort of regular blog posts or Facebook updates or something, you could do that. And if you wanted a TV show with sort of interactive second screen content, you could do that as well. It's the same technology, you just bend it to how you want to use it. So I think the important thing is that it's invisible to the people that are taking part in the experience. So there is no app for like the audience. They're using their normal mobile phone, either texting or calling. If they're using Facebook, it's the usual Facebook page. They don't have to necessarily authenticate with any Facebook app. They're using Twitter with their normal Twitter client and so on. So they don't know about it. So it's a service for storytellers, and it's collaborative. So on this Game of Thrones project, we're in London. We also have one of our team in Madrid, and the website developers are in Paris, and we're all working on this project together, and we can collaborate through Conductrr. Every piece of content that goes out is stored in Conductrr, so that means a client or a storyteller can get a single sort of look at all this content that's going out across different platforms. And at its heart is this interactive storytelling, a gaming engine. So the paradigm, the way that you sort of like approach the project is you create characters and then you give them different means of communication. So you say, right, this is a character and I'm going to give him a telephone number, or I need him to communicate through email or Twitter. And then you authenticate. So you would set this up outside of Conductrr. So you create like a YouTube channel for your character. You go into Conductrr, so this is my character with a YouTube channel, click to authenticate, and now Conductrr can talk to that character's YouTube channel. And then what the character does is it listens for different events. So a scheduled event is basically just date and time. So you say, on Monday at 9:30, I want you to do this. Now interactive, it's not based on date and time, it's based on things that the audience does, that the player does. So it could be, wait for a text message to come in with, I want to help. Wait for a text message with such and such thing. Well, it could be, look at this YouTube video, and when it gets to 1,000 views, post this Facebook post. Or look at this Facebook page, and if someone mentions the red wedding, then respond with a comment this way. So if you could have any kind of different combination of any kind of interaction related to sort of publishing this content, and it can go back to one person or back to everyone. So anybody that interacts with your characters gets added to this database. So what you can do is you can see how popular the experience is across these different channels and at different times, of course, because everything that comes in gets logged by to a date and time. Now, you can also have a more formal registration process where you ask people to enter their email and their Twitter account and so on. This widget comes from within Conductrr. So in Conductrr, the idea is that you don't need to be a programmer to use it. So you go in and you say, well, I want to ask people their name and their email address. You click go, it creates some code for you, which you then cut and paste into a website. So we've been doing a lot with Wix, because they have like templated websites. It's very easy to get things up and running. So we just go into Wix, create our template, and then where we need the form, we just add like a fixed add app, HTML, paste the code, and then you've got the sign up form. And then other people that are sort of more, it kind of depends on the budget. Like if I'm doing it myself for an independent project, that's totally fine. But then you can style this if you know like CSS and so on. If you're like a proper website coder, developer, then you can make this all attractive and feed in. But importantly, all the intelligence is still kept in Conductrr. Now in that database, that audience database, everybody can be sort of undifferentiated, or you can put them into groups. So you could have like an English speaking group, a Spanish speaking group, or it might be that you ask people a question. So you say, what's your favourite cocktail? Is it fruity or creamy? So some people come back creamy, they go in that group, the fruity group go there.
So that's how you did like whether you're Targaryen or...
Yeah, exactly.
Or...
Yeah, so when people sign up at the website, they select from the document, so Targaryen, Lannisters, so on. But it's also the way we do the realms. So they sign up for Madrid or Galicia or Barcelona. And then we can do cross groups. So we say, give me all the Targaryens from Madrid, and it will do a combo and it will spit those out. So it's quite good. So when you're communicating with your audience, you can say, email all the Targaryens, or just email the Targaryens on the Canary Islands.
How many people have to, like, or it's I mean, pretty complex if you're going to do all these commands to these different groups. So how many people are on the team that came up with the concept, and then how many people does it take to run it once it starts?
So for Game of Thrones, now remember it's like a massive TV show, so we've got about 5,000 players. There's 3 of us that developed, well I say like 2.5. So myself and Belen, we developed the game mechanics and we wrote the script for the web series and the story and everything. And then Eduardo is our creative technology, so he came in towards the end to help with the integration with the website guys. So there's 2 people that built the website. And then now it's running, there's a social media manager at Canal Plus, and there's like a sort of technology guy, I guess, interactive person, and Eduardo. So there's about 3 people keeping it running. Belen occasionally gets in. I don't really do much now, it's running.
That's still not that many.
No, it's not that many, no, because it's once you've set it up,
Right.
and you've tested it. So in the early days, we were sort of tweaking it as we watched players interact with it, and we saw what they did, and yeah, so we just sort of adjusted it.
So how long the list of these different commands, like if this person does this, then do this, is it like 100 of books worth? I mean, how many different commands?
For Game of Thrones, or?
Yeah, yeah.
Well, I mean, like, it's up to you on your sort of experience design, it just depends. So, like the Umbra thing that's running here, like the owners put that together, and there's like less than 10 stages, and it's all very straightforward, because it's the first time she's used Conductrr. And so on. But with Game of Thrones, it's much more complex, because we've got people buying weapons that have different strengths. Because just let me get on to the next thing, because what you can do is, you can add action, in addition to the groups, you can create attributes for everything. So what we've done is, here I'm showing the attributes, the health and the strength and the stamina, for example. So we're managing these, and then if someone buys a potion, it might boost their stamina and lower their wealth, and it might weaken them a little bit. So it's quite a complex project in that regard, but then we're developers of the platform. So I wouldn't expect someone to come in and start developing like a Game of Thrones role-playing game from day one. But you certainly could develop the stuff that Johnny Verga has done for his live experience and everything. To be honest, the tool is easy enough to use. I think the complexity comes in with the actual experience design.
Right.
Like in the storytelling, thinking about, well, how do I, what is the journey for the player? Where do they start? Where are they going to find out this information? How do I get them interacting with each other? So I think that's the more tricky part. Inside Conductrr, we have a space called the whiteboard, and it's basically where you can put up pictures and you can create scenes and start to link stuff together and sort of develop your ideas. And then a lot of the things that you create will already be available to you in Conductrr to start making them interactive. So it's rather than do stuff on paper and then like convert it to work in Conductrr, you can start in Conductrr before you've got a full picture of what you want to do, just sort of play around with some ideas, and then when you're ready, then you can sort of move on. So this next project, so with Game of Thrones, it's a full-on RPG, so it's predominantly gaming rather than sort of publishing. And with this next project, have you heard of Mills and Boon? So Mills and Boon is like a romantic novel imprint from Harlequin, which is a big publisher. They've just been bought by HarperCollins. So Alison Norrington is the kind of transmedia mastermind behind the chat script. It's a fictional hotel, and there's a number of different characters in this sort of world. There are a series of 8 books that will go out one a month from May through to December. And running through the books, so the Chatsfield is like this, the Chatsfield family, I guess, like the Hillmans or something, perhaps, as a way to think of it. And each of the books deals with a different sort of member of the family, more or less. But running through this is a secretary at the hotel, like a personal assistant at the hotel. And this is her office. When you go to the website, you can visit the rooms for some of these different characters. And if you see some of these little sort of icons, you can click to interact with the object, and then that might take you to some other piece of content. So let me show you this video. This is in English. So
the most glamorous hotels have the same things in common. The legacy hotels are the ones with style and spectacle, and of course, scandal. The world's most lavish hotels start your evening with the most exquisite cocktails, finish your day with the world's softest sheets. 5-star hospitality means top-class service, infinite attention to detail, sometimes a discretion to turn a blind eye. There is always another side. Imagine if you could peek behind the scenes. Hear from people who really know what goes on, and discover the intriguing stories of their own. Because often the best stories are told by the people you least expect. Check in at the Chatsfield and start to explore.
So what it's showing there is that you can telephone the characters and you can text them. And the messages that you get when you phone them might vary by time of day or day of the week, depending on what they're involved in. And that secretary, so she has a web series. It goes out Mondays, Wednesdays and Fridays.
Good afternoon, Priscilla Chatsfield office. Jessie speaking. Dating. Seriously, I've only just met the guy who's been thinking I have accepted her ridiculous challenge and will remain single for 3 months. 1 month in and closer to Vegas. Keep that going. What's going to happen next? Oh, someone. Oh, of course you went.
What is that? Trailer.
Sorry, no, come on. I should take that. You're bad luck. Okay, picking up where we left off. I've got a secret in mind. It's like Valentine's Day, but it's really sweet. At least Lucilla's distracted by the new walking, talking, cocktail-making bar to Daniel. Imagine, again, I've got another gift. Except for his big secret in this closet full of lies. Email me if you find anything on jessie.loe29@gmail.com. The first dark channel made down. So chicken, not stone. This girl. I'm Jessie Lowe, and welcome to the Lowe.
So her story is that she's trying to stay single because she's fed up with
How much
men.
that's 10K today?
So there's this
Just kidding. On the second donut.
there's this hot guy in the bar, and she wants the audience to find out about him. So if you email her and say, I'll spy for you, she sends you on a challenge, and it's basically like an AMG, so you go like around the web and find out about this character. And Conductr's doing all the back end for this, so we're publishing the web series every sort of Monday, Wednesday. So a lot of this is schedule based because you've got the regular webisodes. I think it's about 36 in total going out every week. We're doing the blog posts for the chambermaid, who's also an escort. So she's a chambermaid at the hotel, but she has her own private blog where she talks about saucy stuff. And I don't know if you've heard of Theatrics. Theatrics is like a private YouTube platform that you can role play in the world of the hotel. So you invent your own character, you video yourself and upload it. And anything that happens goes through Conductrr. So if you upload a video or if you click to like something, then we get a trigger and that adds to your sort of loyalty points. So what we've done is, this is my profile page. It says that I'm a B-lister, so I leveled up from a C-list, and the idea is to get into the A-list. And these are the badges that I've collected through interacting on social media, interacting with the characters. And I've got a safe deposit box. So all of this is personal to me, based on how I interact with the work. And just like Game of Thrones, all of this is sort of scripted inside Conductrr without any coding, but then the people who build the website build it, and then they interface with their API. So what's good about this is once this is set up, like the creative can continue to be developed and tweaked without having to go back to the developers. So it's really useful. And then this is quite nice. So because she's like the PA or the secretary at the hotel, she invites you to eavesdrop, or you're invited to eavesdrop on the emails that she's saving that go through. So here, this is her inbox, and you can go through these emails, and it's basically like a digital book because there's so much content in it. I think overall there's something like 650 pieces of content for this experience that's going to go around. And there's a folder here, bond folder, which is personal to you. So if you go to the website and you don't register, you can still read all of this content. But in order to look at the bond folder, which she refers to in the video, you need to register because that's personal to you. So then based on how you interact to try and find out about the love interest, Daniel Northman, so you'll find different items in there to help you sort of solve the quest. So our thing, just to wrap this up, so our thing is that, often, I know not at this convention, but normally people think of the games only existing on their sort of console device, and we're looking to extend the game beyond that, so that if you want to always be in that story world, you can. And what we can do is that you can get characters from the game, calling you or sort of tweeting you, and you left me in the in the dungeon or something like that, or you left me in the barracks with no ammo. What are you going to do? So you could respond, and then later on when you get back home, you pick up the game and you find that the characters evolved or the items are sort of sequestered from them. And you could also, as we've done with Game of Thrones with the text messaging, you could find some other technology to go to the location, interact, and then when you go back to the game, you find that it's been updated. So this is something that's been developed in San Francisco, Estimo. It's so Apple's jargon for it is iBeacon. And it's basically a proximity detector. So if you have a mobile phone with the Apple, it will detect how far away you are from this beacon. And in their example, they're saying that, you walk into the store and then you're near the t-shirt and you get a message, you're near the t-shirts, want to buy a t-shirt. But what we're looking at doing is using that for storytelling. So we're saying, like, if someone's approaching, we could do something. And what if we gave them a dilemma? So now they're between two different sort of places and they get a phone call and it says, you have a choice. Do you go to the left or do you go to the right? And the other thing we'll be looking at is putting these on actors. So why do the beacons need to be stationary? We could actually shepherd somebody, around an area, and he's getting closer,
Right, but those are app or how do they work?
So the way they work is, well, the ones we've got, they're not very big. So we bought some other proximity detectors, not Estimo. They're probably about that size, a little bit bigger than a sort of poker chip or something. And they have a battery in them, and the battery lasts for about 2 years. And they just send out their location. And with the app's looking for, if your phone's got Bluetooth on it, it's listening for these beacons, and then it's up to you as the storyteller to decide what to do when the app notices that beacon. So each beacon has got a unique identifier, so you know if you're by beacon 1 and not by beacon 2. So so for example, it would know that I'm in this room because the app is picking up beacon 1. But inside Conductrr, you would tell it beacon 1 means near Clarissa, and if I get near beacon 2, then I'm near Tony.
So you can almost use them like a scavenger, like from one point to the next.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So if you use actors, would there be something to notify them that there's someone in line?
You could do exactly, yeah. And I think let me come back to that because I've got a slide for it exactly. So what we see now is lots of people are building these sensor networks, because of this Internet of Things. Lots of devices have come with computers built in, and they can send up different things, like your washing machine, whether it's overheating or something. Well, for us, that's all like storytelling components. So we sit in the cloud, invisible, and we can connect to other sort of clouds in order to make it all come together. And this is an example of like connecting to another cloud. So this was a project where the client wanted to raise money to replace kerosene lamps in India with solar powered lamps. So kerosene lamps are really bad for the environment. So children that grow up around them, it's equivalent to smoking 2 cigarettes a day. So they would get rid of them, give them solar powered lamps. This is a Raspberry Pi with an air monitoring gadget on the end, and it was sending up information about carbon monoxide in Mumbai. And what we did was we used the triggers from the air quality to control the mood of the character. So if the air quality was good, she was in a happy mood, and if the air quality was bad, she was in a bad mood. And as a player, you're interacting with that character through Twitter or text messaging, but the way that she responds, the way that she interacts with you, is based on the mood, and the mood is controlled by the air quality. So this is a device called Twine, and it understands its orientation, so it knows whether it's up or down, and you can shake it, and you can use that to send information to the conductor. And we stuck it in the backside of this little bed, and it would complain if you put it face down. NFC is another sort of technology similar to the Estimo thing, but rather than detecting proximity, you've got to be right on top of it, so you really need to like, touch it. This is a mobile app that was this. So this is just a prototype app for a TV show where the audience had to vote on whether the accused was innocent or guilty, and all of the logic is built in Conductrr, but then the app developer developed this. So these buttons send a signal into Conductrr, and then we send the information back, and then they produce a sort of pie chart on the thing. All these badges are all uploaded into Conductrr. So you know we mentioned the groups before, like add someone to a particular group. If with the group you can click a little checkbox to say this is a badge, upload an image. Now that's how you reward people badges by putting them into a certain group, and then the external device has to sort of code it up. So then with the actors, you asked that question. So if you give the actor like a Bluetooth headset and set the phone on auto answer, Conductrr can actually be like a games master, so it's monitoring the state of what's happening, and then send a cue to the actor to say, right, sector 5's on fire, or the alarm's gone off somewhere else, and it's a new improvisational cue for him, and they start sort of interacting. And you can do it the other way around. I think I'm right in saying that these Estimo, I was going to say they vibrate, maybe it's the other way around, but we could certainly do it where you could get the phone to vibrate on the actor if someone was also playing the game. So they could be in like an open space and sort of looking for people that are supposed to be playing this game, maybe younger around that group. And when they see the vibration, they know to get into character and start doing something, because somebody close by is going to recognise what they're doing, rather than just doing this acting to a crowd of strangers. Yeah, so I think the technology is there, or it's getting there. We're developing an app now, and for these location detectors. And the plan is we'll make the code available so people just build their own apps and so on. So it's all getting there. I think the trick is in the storytelling. It is in coming up with an interesting experience that people go, whoa, that's amazing. And our goal with Conductrr is to make sure that anybody that's got a creative idea can build it up. I forgot to put this slide in there. So we've got our own conference in October in London. So we're bringing together different case studies from the projects that we've worked on, but also some leading academics to talk about their work, because we think that the mix of the sort of business sort of commercial field of the storytelling, and then the academic investigation, especially in things like performance and so on, we bring everyone together and share ideas, and sort of interesting things come out of that. Yeah, so our goal is to be Photoshop for transmedia storytelling, that anybody can go in and tell a story, not have to worry about the technology, because we've already taken care of that. And even if you want to do something that's like totally ambitious, find someone that is a developer. They don't need to get involved in the storytelling bit. They just, you can ask them to develop a website for me, and I want you to display these badges or these leaderboards. But working to our API specification, they can set that up, and then you create the experience without coding. So that's that. That's
It's kind of scary to think about like the government getting hold of it and telling this massive story, where they could just control what people